One thing you have to keep in mind when you're planting your garden, since we're in the planting phase for the following year, even though you already see our garden is popping, and we explained to you why some of it isn't doing so well, it's because we haven't watered it in almost a week, probably a little more than a week. All right, we just depended on the rain, and we didn't even water it with our harvested rainwater. Anyway, one of the things you have to keep in mind when you're planning for your garden is that you have to consider security if you're growing in the so-called hood. I've always been in the hood, so I know how to carry myself. All right. One of the things, since I'm talking about I know how to carry myself, you have to do. Don't switch up. Don't. If you was a thug before you started gardening, if you was a gangster or consider yourself a gangster before you started gardening, then you just become a gangster gardener. Don't start talking like Barney and wearing a shirt and tie. You in the garden, you getting dirty. What you wearing a shirt and tie for? All right, you in these urban farms and what I would call my urban jungle. Why are you wearing a shirt and tie? No need for all that. No need to switch up your style. Keep it simple. Keep it plain. Keep it gangster. Keep it thugged out. All right, that's one of the things that might help deter some of your invaders. All right. I told y'all before that at the community garden that I started, what was it, 2 or 3 years ago now. A lot of people came in. Well, I don't know if it was a lot of people or what, but they stole all of the tomatoes. And I'm only bringing this up because I heard the frustration in the sister's voice when she was like, I just give up. They came in and took all the eggplants, all the cucumbers, all the tomatoes, smashed it, destroyed it, knocked over the fences, just completely destroyed 2 years of work. Gotcha. I've been putting in work too. I felt the same way when they came in the community garden and stole all the tomatoes, dug up plants. You hear me? Dug them up by the root, took them somewhere else and planted them. Hey, clearly it's a community garden. Clearly it's fenced in. Clearly they know that people were putting in work to make it happen. But just like any other area of your life, people are going to come in after you've done all the work, and they're going to reap the rewards for your hard work. Keep it gangster. Don't change up. Don't switch up. Somebody was like, I'm growing so I can sell this stuff. That's the other thing. You're talking about capitalism. You got to be careful about that, because capitalism will have you just throwing in some Miracle Grow or some other type of unnatural inorganic fertilizer, and yeah, your plants will grow with no problem. Even in the worst conditions, they'll grow. I'll admit that. But what are you feeding yourself and your family and the people? You don't care because you're selling. If you're selling, you don't care about the quality other than, hey, it's a lot of stuff here. You can get so many pounds of X, Y, and Z. That's why they do what they do. That's why they feed your meat hormones and things, so they can fatten them up. All right, so now you're getting more pounds of meat for less money. Capitalism is a dangerous thing, man. So you get into capitalism. If you're growing so that you can make money, then you're going to start making shortcuts or taking shortcuts. Now the other thing, the other way I secure my garden is because a lot of city people, especially where I live at, they scared of wildlife. So, man, I got raccoons in this joint eating groundhogs. One of my neighbors is from New York, and she was like, man, you invited all the wildlife in. What you doing? All this wildlife in the city area. They scared to come up in this joint. And the ones that ain't scared, hey, they not scared of the wildlife. They not deterred by the wildlife. They not deterred by me. They not deterred by all this poison ivy that I have back here that I didn't grow, by the way. I was when I first acquired this property, man, I stayed in the hospital. I didn't know what it was. I'm a city dude just like anybody else. I didn't know that I had no idea that it was poison ivy up in there, and that was my problem. The doctors were trying to send me to these clinics. Man, I don't trust none of these people. Trying to send me to these clinics talking about it's, some disease we never seen before. Found out it was just poison ivy. Man, y'all tripping. Y'all ain't gonna experiment on me. So I went somewhere. I went to an African doctor, and the African doctor was like, hey, you got poison ivy and probably poison sumac on your property. So I didn't dig it up. I left it in. That's another security measure. So you come in here, you know, and you ain't protected. You talking about sleeves. Now the other thing I did, I had to take them up because neighbors moved in and they had kids. But I took these boards right here, right? And I drove nails through them. And I flipped the board over so the nails would be sticking up. Walk in here, you're getting punctured. You don't have no reason to come in here. Privacy fence right there. Brick wall on that side. There's no reason for you to be in here. There's only one way in. All right, one way in. You can't come through the urban jungle right here. You can't come through there. It's only one way in. So if you coming in these other ways, then that means you up to no good. But they had kids, their ball was coming over the fence. I was like, you know what, I don't want them to step on one of these traps. And then we have a problem. So I took the traps up. But I've been doing pretty good. I grow enough food to feed myself if I wanted to. We'll do another video to let you know what you can actually eat in here. People don't know that even though we're growing these for blackberries, the blackberry leaves are also edible. We're not going to go into that right now. That'll be another video. Anyway, look, if you was a gangster or a thug before you started gardening, keep your thugged out swag. Keep your gangsterism, if you will. And you're going to have to transfer it into gardening. A lot of y'all are disillusioned. Or illusion, whatever the word is. I'm not an English major. But, and you believe that when you go into business, now you can be legitimate. Do you know most of these businesses, especially black people, had this problem? They like, I'm gonna be legitimate. Man, capitalism is crime. Simple as that. They're criminal organizations. Now they may use your education for their benefit, but there's a certain level that you'll get to in these organizations that you'll figure out and learn, man, this is a criminal organization. What does that have to do with gardening? When you're a gardener, you got to remember, I'm still in the hood. I've always been in the hood. But all areas of the hood ain't bad, and y'all know it. Stop faking. Believe in these rap albums. Those of y'all that ain't from the hood. Alright? All areas of the hood ain't bad. But I've always been in the hood, bad or good. I know how to carry myself. I continue to carry myself that way. Not to say that thugs and gangsters can't be got, because they got all the time. But it's just another deterrent for the would-be criminals and vandals. Keep it gangster. This has been Daku. Peace.